And the American Diabetes Association revealed that insulin shots are 16 times less effective against diabetic leaky liver, meaning that even medications can't fix this. Harvard scientists even discovered that a diabetic leaky liver can lead to sharp blood sugar spikes that can permanently damage your eyes, kidneys, heart, and brain. Plus, the liver can turn even non-carb foods into glucose. So even if you cut out all the carbs and sugar, you can still struggle with life-threatening blood sugar spikes. Here's why people who do keto can still get diabetes. My heart was racing, thinking about all the damage already happening inside my body. But everything now made sense. The real cause of erratic blood sugar was a diabetic leaky liver, and even medications or a perfect diet can't fix this. Dr. Hawk, but why does this happen? I asked. Well, Jack, that's the scary part. The liver is like your body's filter system. Every single day, we're exposed to more than 80,000 pollutants, chemicals, and toxins. And it's your liver's job to remove these toxic chemicals. This means that your liver is severely damaged and overworked right now. These toxic chemicals are everywhere, so there's no way to avoid them. Then, Dr. Hawk grabbed an old dented can of green beans and held it up like evidence in a court case. Look, even these canned green beans are terrible for your blood sugar. You see, most canned foods are packed with something called BPA, a nasty chemical that can disrupt your liver, causing erratic blood sugar. In fact, when BPA production increased in the 1950s, blood sugar problems skyrocketed. And this is not a coincidence. BPA is also linked with higher cancer risks, and it's everywhere. Walk through any grocery store and you'll find BPA-infected products in 9 out of 10 aisles. Veggies, bottled beverages, even the receipts are loaded with BPA. At that moment, I was completely shocked. But I had one last question. Dr. Hawk, there's got to be a way to fix this, right? Dr. Hawk gave me this knowing smile. Then he grabbed a bottle of his mysterious red syrup and said, "Believe it or not, the solution you need is inside this." Suddenly, his face got more serious. You know, Jack, ever since I left the Army, I've been on a mission. I lost my dad to diabetes when I was just 11 years old, and medications made his last years miserable. I swore I'd find a better way so nobody else would have to go through what he did. And believe me, I literally looked everywhere. I read every study, I tested every single natural solution. After trying and failing for 7 years, I was this close to throwing in the towel. Until I discovered something that changed everything. One night, I stumbled across a unique sweet fruit that some people call nature's candy. It comes from Norway in Northern Europe, where people have 3 times lower diabetes rates than the U.S., even though they eat carbs like potatoes, pasta, and bread daily. It's often used in gin, and according to a 2023 study from the prestigious Journal of Medical Food, this nature's candy can plug your diabetic leaky liver, flush out excess sugar from your blood, and drop erratic blood sugar by an astonishing 39%. That's right, 39%. And according to studies from the National Institute of Health, it can do all of this in just a couple weeks. This nature's candy is called juniper fruit. But here's the thing, you can't just eat it. If you want to get the best results possible, you have to combine it with 2 other ingredients. One of them is glucose dropping berry that was used for over 1,200 years in Chinese medicine. This berry is backed by more than 44 studies. It can help repair a leaky liver while stabilizing erratic blood sugar. According to top UK scientists, this glucose-dropping berry can drop high blood sugar levels by 22%, which is like dropping your blood sugar by a whopping 40 points. Even better, this berry works incredibly fast because it can stabilize blood sugar in just 2 hours without side effects. It can also help to melt fat, enhance your heart health, and crush your risks of diabetes complications. Its scientific name is mulberry. But that's not all, because the third ingredient is the most potent of all. It's an Indian flower that was used for over 3,000 years to tackle type 2. And here's the funny part. Some people actually use it in desserts. Here's why I call it the Indian sweet flower. Now, dozens of studies from Harvard, Stanford, and Oxford University show how it works its magic on blood sugar. But what really stood out to me was a small study most people have never heard about, where scientists gave patients this Indian sweet flower before dinner. And the results were shocking. Almost every single patient saw their blood sugar drop, and not by 10 points or even 20 points. The Indian sweet flower dropped their blood sugar by a whopping 83 points. You heard that right, 83 points. That's enough to go from diabetic to completely healthy levels. And in a 2020 study, this Indian sweet flower stabilized blood sugar levels so much that many patients got off their prescription meds. This Indian sweet leaf is called Harip loca of the woods. So that's what's inside this syrup, Jack. It's just berries, fruits, and plants. The real magic is how they work together. Now, as soon as I got home, I was more excited than a little kid on Christmas Eve. I started using Dr. Hawk's red syrup the very next morning, drizzling it over my pancakes. On day one, something felt different. My blood sugar was the same, but I actually had some energy, so I just kept using it. But what happened next totally blew my mind. After a week, I checked my numbers, and my blood sugar went from 205 to 121. I couldn't believe my eyes. I'd never seen my morning readings that low. But that was just the beginning. 2 weeks later, my blood sugar was 110 every morning. At my monthly checkup, my doctor's jaw practically hit the floor. He told me that my blood sugar was perfect, and he canceled my amputation. For the first time in months, I was finally free from my nauseating medications, from the fatigue, cravings, and nagging blood sugar spikes, and from the paralyzing fear of leaving my loved ones alone. Suddenly, I had the energy of my younger self. I could actually keep up with all the hard work on the ranch. I went back to playing with my 3 loved grandkids for hours, and Sarah, well, we started taking our evening walks again, holding hands just like when we first fell in love, knowing that my diabetes would no longer threaten to tear us apart. Everything was perfect. Well, almost perfect. Because that's when I ran into a pretty big problem. After just a few weeks, I was running low on Dr. Hawk's red syrup. I tried to make it myself, but the ingredients were impossible to find.